Welcome back everyone to Racing Reviews, and welcome to a video that is right up my street. The 29th of June 2023, AlphaTauri announced they're going to rebrand their team. Gone is the AlphaTauri name, AlphaTauri colours, and even team principal. Franz Tost is leaving at the end of this season, being replaced by Ferrari Laurent Mekies, and it's time to revitalise the AlphaTauri brand, the fashion line for Red Bull that came into Formula 1 in 2020, and 4 seasons of up and down performances, including a victory and extra podium for Pierre Gasly. It's time for a change. The brand is known, it's not been the raging success I think they would have hoped for, but also their on-track performances of late aren't quite good enough. And though Yuki Tsunoda this season has put in some monster performances in that car, it's been a struggle for Nyck de Vries and the overall performance of the AlphaTauri this season, where once they were a upper midfield car, that's not the case anymore. And points are a rarity, top 10 finishes are a rarity, and so their decision to wipe the slate clean, new leader, new name, new structure, now the team moving a lot of their operations to the UK and away from Faenza in Italy, I can understand why they're drawing a line in the sand and it's time for a rebrand. And I want to talk about this. My background in business has got my head swirling about what they can do, and though nothing is confirmed and Red Bull are being really tight-lipped on this rebrand for 2024, I feel it would be fun to discuss what I would do for the team rebranding for next season, and for you guys to share some of your thoughts in the comments down below. So as always, if you are new, feel free to subscribe. We are back on YouTube, so any sort of like and comment is going to help so much, and it is very much appreciated. But let's get into this one, because a rebrand is not easy, and Laurent Mekies is going to come to this team and he's going to want to turn it around. It's a big step up from him leaving Ferrari. It's a risk, but I think a risk worth taking. Now, Red Bull traditionally have had AlphaTauri as a second team, a team that's in Formula 1, of course, to perform, but their primary function was to give Red Bull juniors experience in Formula 1. So drivers that started at Toro Rosso / AlphaTauri, you've got Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, now Yuki Tsunoda, and there's plenty more. Those drivers got their opportunity in Formula 1 because Red Bull had that junior team. And that's worked for them up until recently. Up until 2015, when they had Verstappen and Sainz. A couple of years later, both drivers moved on, and since it's been a bit of a struggle for the team. Pierre Gasly was a consistent driver for them, and I feel Yuki Tsunoda is turning into that too. But they've also had moments where they've had to call back drivers and have drivers in their car which are more just to fill a seat. And it's no disrespect to drivers like Brendan Hartley or Nyck de Vries for this season. But I think with this rebrand, let's go bold. Let's think bigger picture. Red Bull have a championship winning car and their second team is at the back, and that needs to change. So I think the mindset going into this new team is to have a team that can fight at the front with Red Bull, and I think as a group they need to change that mindset from a junior team to a team that is capable of getting victories, of getting podiums. And I think straight away, driver lineup, we ditch the junior team status. I think keep Yuki Tsunoda. He's a driver that's 3 years in to Formula 1. He's got some solid performances in him, especially this season. And alongside him, I think we bring back Daniel Ricciardo. I think we do, because if we're getting rid of that junior status and we're saying they're equal, they're a Formula 1 team in their own right, let's make this an exciting team. Let's get a headline driver to be alongside Yuki Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo in the car. There's a chance then for Red Bull to assess what he's like, to see if it was just that McLaren situation that didn't work for him, and to see if Yuki is ready for that Red Bull seat, which there's a lot of discussions about at the moment with Sergio Perez struggling so much, whether Yuki should be offered that opportunity. So I think next season, most likely Perez is going to stay in that team. Next season, with this rebrand, Danny Rick and Yuki Tsunoda, you've got two quick drivers there. A young, hungry driver, a race winner. That's a good place to start our rebrand. So we're ditching that young driver mentality. What I'm then going to say is names are going to be tricky to come up with, but I really like the idea of this team being a fun team that's a little bit more hared down than the current Red Bull team. And Red Bull are a team that's exciting, they do lots of promotional events, but actually they're a team that every season have the same livery. A team that is very tight-lipped, very professional. But as a Red Bull brand, when you look at their external activities in other sports, extreme sports, they're such a fun brand. And I think that's something that the current team doesn't quite show off enough. So my feeling is we've got this second team, call them something along the lines of Red Bull Extreme, or we could call it something alongside a Red Bull can. So Red Bull Zero would be quite fun. That's quite an exciting name. Sounds very Formula One. It's a name of the Red Bull can drink. I think that could be really interesting. And I think every season we can theme the car alongside a Red Bull drink. And it doesn't have to be the Red Bull drink. So one year we could have it black and white, black and silver, like the Red Bull Zero can. We could then have a tropical edition where the next year it's yellow. We could have, there's a red one, isn't there? A red edition, coconut edition, there's a green car as well. Every year they could change it up. Because Red Bull have produced some gorgeous liveries for testing over the years. The camo bull, there was a red camo bull as well, a blue camo bull. They're so exciting, so fun, but then we just get the same livery every year. So if we can have a team with two exciting drivers where they're going to give us the crazy liveries, more like a football shirt, like an away kit, just go for it. Be super artistic. Bit like Danny Ricciardo's helmets. Just go for it. Completely out there, like no commercial team on the grid. What you're going to end up with is so many fans that are neutral to Formula One pointing out that car and saying, look at that. That is a team I want to be part of. That's exciting, that is fresh, that is different. And I think if you can get Daniel Ricciardo to be the face of that team, who again with his helmet designs is out there, with his personality is out there, that's going to give this team such a new lease of life. And with Danny Rick, and I know I've spoken about him a lot at the moment, but what you're going to get, and with Yuki, in fairness to him, is a team that just feels completely fresh. And AlphaTauri at this stage, where they've had such a long run of being a junior team, and with all of the talk around this team being revitalise the team to change their aspirations in Formula One, they need to be that fun side of Red Bull where on their day they can put in a monstrous performance. They're going to show up each weekend with a slightly different livery. There's going to be that buzz every single weekend. What's our Red Bull Zero going to do this time out? And by doing that, we leave Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso in the past and we move into the future. That's my vision. Sounds fun, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching. If you are new, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.